And now we are in the kitchen with Chef Katy. We're going to cook with oats, and we're going to make something that I never would have thought to make. So tell me all about this.
So we are using oats in some breading. We're going to bread some tempeh.
Explain what tempeh is.
Yeah, so tempeh is made out of soybeans. So if you're familiar at all with tofu, it's similar, but the difference is that when they make tofu, they blend the soybeans, right? So when you make tempeh, you keep the soybeans whole, and you actually add an inoculant. So it is a fermented soybean product, which it eats better than it sounds.
And it's got nice chewy texture.
Yeah, it has texture on its own. It's got kind of even like a little nutty flavor on its own. So you can get this pretty much at any grocery store. It really likes moisture, and it really likes salt. So you do want to take, we took this out of the package and marinated it and baked it first to give it some flavor before we do all this, which is really helpful. You could just take it out of the package and do this, but you probably wouldn't enjoy it quite as much.
All right.
So the tempeh is ready to go. I'm using rice flour to keep it gluten-free.
Okay. So you could use wheat flour if that's it's flexible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And just a little cornstarch to help bind it. This, our liquid is coconut milk and soy sauce and a little water to thin it out. And then our spice blend here, I have some fine ground black pepper and also some coarse ground black pepper.
And it smells very peppery in here.
It does,
That's a lot of pepper.
It's a lot of pepper. It's a counterintuitive amount of pepper. You wouldn't normally season things with this much pepper, but we really want to get the flavor from it, and we really want to get like a little heat from the black pepper, which is something that I feel like you don't get a lot just from like typical table peppercorns. We also have in there onion powder, garlic powder, nutritional yeast, some dried thyme, and some coriander, and then, like I said, our pepper, and then a little salt. And so we'll add our oats. So these are just rolled oats, and we'll mix these up. I'm actually going to use my hands.
All right.
Because it's easier.
More thorough.
Yep. And then we have a pan on some heat over there. If you want to add the little bit of vegetable oil there, we'll get that warm, and then I'll start breading some tempeh. So with this, we're just kind of drying out the tempeh so that the wet has something to stick to. And then just throw it in there. So I'm going to give you that. If you want to get those in the pan, you can just swirl that oil around a little. It's nice to get the tempeh to get on the oil. So we do want to get a little color on the oats. These are just raw oats, so they're not toasted or anything. This is almost like a breaded chicken kind of thing.
Feels like it would make a salad a lot more substantial. A salad eat like a meal.
Yeah.
All right.
But it'd be equally as good with like mashed potatoes and some veggies, or pretty much anything. It's good in a wrap. I featured it on a sandwich the other day, and there was a guy who got the sandwich and said he'd been vegan since 1976, and it was the best sandwich he'd ever had.
Wow.
So that's cool.
All right, these are done?
These are done. So this is like just getting nice and dark. You wouldn't want to go any darker than that. It would taste a little burned, which we don't want. So this is great. We'll pull a couple over here and put them on top of this salad, and we can give them a try.
Oh, fantastic.
So careful, it will be warm.
All right, and in the salad?
Salad is just a nice arugula mix, and then some carrots and radish, and like a creamy herb dressing, which I think will complement the tempeh well.
I need to get more tempeh there.
You get the pepper, and the nice like onion powder, garlic powder, real
Absolutely.
rich.
That's delicious. And the oats give it a great texture. That's really nice. That is definitely a salad that eats like a meal.
Yes.
That is delicious. Chef Katy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now we're gonna change gears and make something completely different.
Yes.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna make granola bars.
Oh, great.
So I eat a lot of granola bars. I don't know if you do, but it's actually something that I've never made. I've made granola, but I've never made granola bars at home or at the restaurant. So I thought that would be a fun thing to try. The first thing we're gonna do is just take some dates, which are kind of like a binder, and put them in the food processor. Okay, so we do want them to get pretty small so they get incorporated into the rest of the ingredients.
Nice.
So
Good and gooey, so they stick everything together.
Exactly. And put this in the bowl. And then you have a little saucepan over there
Yes.
on low heat, and we will add some almond butter into the saucepan with that rubber spatula there.
Okay.
You can go ahead and do all of it.
All right.
So I'm using almond butter, but you could use whatever nut butter you like, or even like sunflower seed butter if you have nut allergies or anything like that. Just something creamy. And then we have some coconut oil.
Okay.
Coconut oil is something that solidifies when it's cold, right? So that it kind of acted as a kind of a gel for the whole thing. And then this is bee-free honey. Okay. So it's like a vegan honey. It's made with apple juice concentrate and sugar and lemon juice. I didn't make it, I bought it.
All right. So you could use honey if that's something
You could
you're
use honey
comfortable
if
with.
you
Great.
use honey. So we just want to whisk that together and just get everything blended. We're not looking to, boil it or get it really
Right.
hot or
Well,
anything.
gooey is definitely the theme here, isn't
Yes.
it?
So now I'll get started on the rest. So oats, obviously, our star ingredient. Oats and dates, and then I have some toasted pumpkin seeds here, and I have some almonds, chocolate chips, dried cranberries. And then this is some date paste, which is another thing that I found to be a nice little trick since I'm not using honey. Honey is very sticky, right? So the original recipe called for honey, and I found when I just substituted maple syrup that didn't quite
Wasn't
do
quite
it.
sticky enough,
So
huh?
this date paste I found at the store, and I thought I'd give it a try, and it seems to really do the trick. So
Nice.
that's cool.
All right, and I'm sure flavorful as well.
Yes, totally. So I'm gonna kind of blend all this stuff up a little, and then we'll get that whisked a little bit more.
All right.
And this is super simple. Pour that over, and then we stir it all together. And it is nice to use a wooden spoon for this. It just seems to work really well, but you don't have to. So it smells really good.
Yeah,
already,
it
too.
does.
You could toast the oats if you wanted
You could
as well.
eat that with a spoon.
You could just eat this on top of some ice cream.
Right.
That would be good.
Maybe negating the health benefits.
Yes,
huh?
exactly. All right, so then we have just like a baking dish with some parchment paper. And thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll just put this right in here when it's still a little bit warm. Get all that good stuff in there. And then that we just use to press everything down to get it into the corners and get it kind of an even size in the pan. So that is done. This is gonna go in the freezer for like 15 minutes, or it can go in the fridge for like half an hour, just to set up and get everything firm.
Okay.
And then when it's done, we'll slice it up and give it a try.
Fantastic. I'll put it in the freezer.
All right, thank you.
All right, we got the granola bars out of the freezer.
Yep, they've been
really
in there.
firmed up.
They have, yeah, so don't forget about them.
They would be hard to cut if we did, right?
You could let them thaw a little bit if you do, no big deal. So this should just come right out because of the parchment we put in there. And then we will just cut them up, and you can obviously cut them into whatever size you want, but we'll kind of go with a traditional
Granola bar shape and size. Yeah.
exactly. So Ooh, these are so good. All right, so you get one and I get one.
All right, fantastic.
All right. So good.
It is. These are really, really good. Mm-hmm. The kind of thing that is so good, it will be hard to stop at just one.
I know, it's true. We have a whole pan, it's fine.
Right. So if you don't finish them all in one sitting, how would you store them for later?
So you just want to store them in a covered container, and they'll be good for about a week.
Okay, and even though they'll thaw, they'll still hold together.
Yeah, they'll still definitely, like, these are a little chilled just from being in the freezer, but they'll hold the shape for sure.
All right. Well, Chef Katy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
These are delicious.